Today I'm going to share how to use and where to use the OR and the AND function. If you've ever used the if function before, you will definitely find value in the functions that I'm going to share today, and these are very helpful when testing for conditions in a flexible way. To do this, we're going to be going over some practice problems and really show you the power of using the AND and the OR function and where they can be applied. Now, before I actually get into these formulas, I want to first cover the core concept of testing for conditions in Excel. If you've ever used the if function before, you probably used one type of symbol to test for the condition. To test for a condition, you will have to use one of the four core symbols in Excel between equal, greater than or greater to equal than, less than or equal than, and lastly, not equal. Every time you test for a condition, you most likely used one of these four symbols. And to just go over a demonstration, let's quickly do two forms of conditional testing. Our first test is going to be whether the vendor name equals Mixture Inc. So we're going to test whether the cell of the vendor equals Mixture Inc. And for all the conditions that are true, where the vendor does equal Mixture Inc., it will return the function true, and if it's not met, it will return false. So let's go over one more, where if the contract amount is less than 80,000, then we want it to return true. And you'll notice all the amounts above 80,000 will return false, and all the amounts that are less than 80,000 will return true. And this is very important because anytime you do some sort of analysis, you are most likely testing for these conditions. Now, what happens if you want to test for multiple conditions? So let's say, for example, I don't only want to check whether the vendor is Mixture Inc., but I want to check whether the vendor is Mixture Inc. or Delage Inc. So either or of these two. To do that, I'm going to use the OR function where the vendor equals Mixture Inc. or the vendor equals Delage Inc. And when I drag this formula down, you will notice all the vendors that are either Mixture Inc. or Delage Inc. return true. So the OR function is very useful when you're testing for two conditions where either of them can be met for your purpose. So for example, let's say that we've discontinued our service with Delage Inc. and Mixture Inc. and we want to calculate how much the contract amount is for both of these vendors. Without using the OR function, you would have to use SUMIFs for Mixture Inc. and Delage Inc. and then sum both of them to calculate the total. However, instead, I can use the OR function, test whether the vendor is Mixture Inc., and then test whether the vendor is Delage Inc. And then I'm going to use the SUMIFs function where I want to calculate the total contract amount where the value is true. Then this will calculate the total contract amount for both of the vendors of Mixture Inc. and Delage Inc. And you can really see how this function can be useful whenever you're testing for a scenario where either condition can be met. So now let's quickly go over the AND function. So if the OR function tests whether either of the conditions are met, the AND function tests whether both of them have been met. So for example, let's quickly add a question 3. So in this scenario, we've discontinued our service with the vendor Mixture Inc. only where the division is performance improvement. So all these other contract amounts related to Mixture Inc. that are not performance improvement are still going to keep going. So we want to calculate the contract amount where both the condition of the vendor and the division is met. So this is very similar to just using the SUMIFs function. So I would test and division equals performance improvement. and the vendor equals mixture inc. And you'll notice only for the contracts where the division is performance improvement and the vendor is mixture inc. returned the value of true. So then we would use SUMIFs again, where the contract amount equals true to calculate the total contract amount under the performance improvement division for the mixture inc. vendor. You can really see how both of these functions can be useful because it allows you to analyze data testing for multiple conditions within one formula. This is a very important skill set to have and will definitely improve the quality of your analysis when used correctly. And I've also included 2 practice problems that you can use to practice the OR and the AND function. In the next video, I'm going to create a video covering the concept of helper columns or helper index, where you will see the power of using the OR and the AND function to make your analysis much more efficient and higher quality. I hope this video helped you gain insight towards these new functions and how to improve the quality of your financial analysis, and I'll keep providing educational content, so follow for more.